Let's do it. Let's all boycott the movies. Let's all boycott the movies. Let's all boycott the movies, cause AMC stinks. Stupid AMC trying to get our money when we're just trying to get people back into theaters. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. Good morning, my ego panions. Welcome to Egotastic FunTime, where fans can be a fan. How are you all doing today? Say hello. Let me know you're here. Let me know this is coming through. Major JP to ground control. Or I guess I'm ground control. Ground control to Major Egotastic FunTime. Yes, you might have heard AMC is trying a new thing. They're going to be having different prices for different seats in a theater, but there are some rules to that. There are some exceptions to that. We'll talk about that a little bit in just a second. But first, what's up, Archmage Frey? Welcome. Good morning to you. Does everyone have a cup of coffee? I just finished my cup of coffee. Archmage says, everyone always talking about AMC. I know, right? I've never been to one, and I don't think they exist in my area. I love AMC Theater. I used to be a member. You know, you pay monthly, and you can go see 3 movies for free a week, anytime, any day, back to back if you want to. I love AMC theaters. I like the way their theaters are built. Audio quality sometimes is great, sometimes is not super great, depending on the little kids that work there, how they adjust the audio. I had a huge problem with the brightness of the projector lamp when I went and saw the Batman there. The movie's already pretty dark, but if they already lower the brightness a little bit to save money, I guess is why they do that, you couldn't make out any detail in the Batman movie. So that kind of teed me off a little bit. But AMC's, usually every seat's a pretty good seat because they have barriers between each row and it's all elevated, but they want to charge money. It's already hard enough to get people to go back to theaters right now after COVID. People realize, oh, we don't really need theaters as much as we thought. We have home theaters in our houses with pretty damn good screens and pretty good damn audio, and you don't have to wear pants if you don't want to, and you can talk as much as you want over the film, though people at theaters talk over films all the damn time with no consequences. That's one other reason I stopped going to the movies, is other people. John Burns, what's going on? Space Ace to base, come in base. This is Egotastic to the viewers. Archmage Frey, we are Regal and Cinemark here, and then a few mom and pop chains. Here we have one AMC. I think it's a great place to see a movie. We have Cinemarks. Cinemarks are pretty decent nowadays too. And then we have, I don't know if we have Regal, but there's this other theater in town. I can't remember what it's called. I've never been there. It's definitely a more low-budget theater. You can tell by the area. It's in like a strip mall or something like that. And then I think there's a theater in one of the malls. I don't know what brand that is. And I hear news that some old theater from back in the day just reopened. And there's some other theater too that's one of those 21 and over, they serve alcohol type deals. I've never been there either. I just go to a movie theater to watch a movie, and I barely do that anymore because everything's on streaming. If a movie comes out, it's usually on one of the streaming services at the same time, or it'll be in one of the streaming services in just a couple of weeks. All you gotta do is wait, which isn't that hard nowadays because most of the stuff people really want to watch are on streaming services, one of the original programmings, things like that. Anyway, I predict this is not going to go well for AMC. AMC is going, they call them sight lines. So, you know, there's some seats that have better sight lines and they're closer to the screen with a great sight line. They're going to charge more for that. And then there's going to be the regular prices for the okay seats, but regular prices, I haven't looked into it, but I wouldn't bet against the fact that the probably regular price seats went up a little bit, and then the premium seats go up even a little bit more, and they're actually going to charge less for the crappy seats at their theaters, which is probably just what normal price used to be. But don't worry, popcorn will still be about $25 for a bucket of popcorn. So don't worry about that. If you want to go throw money away at basically popped corn, air corn, they will allow you to do that, no problem. You want $4 bottle of water? No problem. I'm sure they'll be offering that as well. Archmage Phrase, oh yeah, the Regal, Mom and Pop. I remember mom and pop places back in the day. I mean, I grew up in Southern California, so in not Brentwood, but right there by UCLA, there's that whole little movie area where there's just all these old classic theaters all in this one little area, and they all have like one screen. It's where all the premieres used to be back in the classic Hollywood days. Went to those once, and then of course if you really want an experience, you can go to the Chinese theater. I don't know what they call it nowadays, but it used to be the Chinese theater. People still call it that, I guess. Archmage says, last movie I saw in theaters was The Wrath of Khan anniversary re-release. I saw a re-release of Wrath of Khan years ago, and I went to the Cinerama Dome in LA to see that. That was years ago. Gosh, that was like 15, 20 years ago. So I'm assuming your anniversary release was sooner than 20 years ago. Mark Chamel, what's going on? Hello, chat and JP. Happy almost weekend. Yes, and I have scheduled, for those of you who don't know, this Sunday's watch party, which will be at noon Pacific Standard Time, not quite this early, a few hours later. We'll be watching the Orville Domino, and I improved things a little. I spent yesterday a couple hours just trying to get the stream all set up for this Sunday's stream, the OBS, you guys, as the young kids call it. We'll be watching Domino, episode 9 of season 3 of the Orville, New Horizons. But I got it all set up where not only can you see a little bit of the image, not too much for copyright sakes, but also I'll have the subtitles, so you can keep up with what's going on in the scene, even though you can't hear it from my end, but you can see what's being said. You got the subtitles there. It took a little while to get it set up the way that I wanted it set up, but I got it, so we're all ready this Sunday. And as long as those watch parties, if people are enjoying them, they're showing up, we're all having a great conversation, I'm going to continue to do them every Sunday. But if people don't like them, I'm going to do something else on Sundays. Pranakasha Productions, thank you so much, Matt. Hola to you and hola to everyone else. And the Time Warpers. Let's do the Time Warp again. John Burns, all I need in my place is a bowling alley. Dude, that would be so great. That would be so great. All I got in my home is an alley. But a bowling alley would be pretty great as well. But yeah, that's my game speed now. Oh, that sounds so good. I love bowling just for fun. But man, I don't want to go to a bowling alley. John Smith, Black Panther 2 was in theaters in November and didn't hit Disney Plus till February. But yeah, this is dumb. Yeah, this is a really tough time for movie theaters. They're just trying to get people back. This is not the way to get people going back to theaters. They need some deals. I mean, they're a huge 100-year corporation. I'm sure they can get some more funding or money from the government or something like that to get people back. They need to be offering deals, not raising prices. It's just going to feed right into the streaming wars. Now people are going to be like, oh, I'm just going to go with streaming, and they're going to be up in their streaming services. But yeah, I do like an AMC as far as a place to go to see movies. Not that I really care to see movies. Like I said, other people are kind of like ruin movies like every time now. That's why even back when I did go to movies, I'd go very early. I'd go to the very first showing at like 11 a.m. or something like that, just to reduce the audience being there. I love a communal. I love a communal experience, but the communal experience has just been like hanging out in someone's living room with just a ton of people. People treat it like their own living room and not like we should all be wearing suits and going to the theaters like they used to back in the day. John Burns says, I saw the Aliens re-release, and saw the Die Hard Han's Booby re-release. Boobies! Pranakash says, I know a girl who is a world champion pinball player. Oh, but is she not allowed to be a pinball wizard? This is 2023. She should be allowed to be a wizard. Renew the Orville. Mark Braddock says renew the Orville. Exactly. I think we're going to get it. It's just going to be whenever they work everything out. It's a lot of business stuff to go over and numbers to go over. I think the numbers are totally there. Now they got to figure out how much they're going to spend on it. They got to probably do new contracts for everybody. They might end up, I haven't heard anything about this, but I predict they'll film season 4 somewhere different. Somewhere Disney has even more control over, how things flow, the money being sent. They'll save money if they film it at Disney Studios, I'm sure. Or hell, they might go to Canada. I really don't see that happening. I see them staying in Southern California, but you never know. I don't know everything. I just make predictions. Leroy Miller, the last movie I saw was The Batman. It was a small mom and pop theater for 2 people. Pop and popcorn was less than the cost of a ticket at AMC and was a great time. I believe it, man. I remember the last time I went to a mom and pop theater. It was in LA. I cannot remember what movie I saw though. John Burns says, if you like trade games, you should screen the documentary The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters. Is that available on, I know of that film. I can't remember what service it's on. Maybe Netflix or Apple. One of them. There's one of them. One of 25 different streaming services. Rob Hughes, what's going on? I so hope they record Sympathy for the Devil. Seth wants to make that episode of the Orville. He said if they get season 4, he definitely wants to make that episode. I think that would be an award-winning episode. Just that one episode would be award-winning. Just like Last of Us episode 3. We know that's going to be award-winning. We just know it. People loved that episode so much and created a lot of buzz. Episode 4 of The Last of Us, last Sunday's episode, dude, that was so good, but man, it left on a hardcore cliffhanger. A cliffhanger that is so hardcore that they decided, I don't know if they decided for this reason, just to be nice to us, the people who are fans of it, but the episode 5, the part 2 of the cliffhanger, the next episode is releasing early this week. We don't have to wait until Sunday. They're going to release the episode tomorrow on Friday, so we don't have to wait all the way till Sunday to watch it. Now, I don't know if it's because they just want to be nice because people cried themselves to sleep because of a cliffhanger, or maybe they're like, hey, this show is going so well, let's pop it in on Friday so people have the entire weekend to watch it. They don't have to worry about going to bed early for work or anything like that. So I don't know what the big idea is with HBOmax releasing the episode tomorrow instead of Sunday, but maybe it's all those reasons. I like to assume they're just being nice, but it's a business. It's all about money. I bet you releasing it on Friday brings in more people. Kroom, what is going on? Is it still called ABC in the US? Now all Odeon here in AMC is here. It's in the US. But it's called Odeon in the UK. That's good to know. I like learning things about things that I'm passionate about. I'm so passionate about AMC. IMAX cinemas are good. Love to see Orville on IMAX. I have seen the Orville on IMAX. When Seth invited me to the premiere of New Horizons, it was at the California Science Museum. I don't know, it's so much more than just a museum, but it has all the cool space stuff, and you can see actual real moon capsules and the entire shuttle. I don't remember which one, Discovery or one of those shuttles is hanging from the ceiling, and it's so huge. But anyway, they have an IMAX theater there, so I watched with the entire cast, crew, producers, and invited guests. We watched Electric Sheep on IMAX, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. Though I'm such a huge Orville fan, every time I watch the Orville, even if it's on my phone or on my computer, mostly on my computer, I feel like it's IMAX because I get so excited about it. I just watched, what did I watch yesterday? It was, I watched a bunch of clips from a bunch of different episodes, but the entire episode, I think I watched, I might have been Domino. I watched a lot of Domino and Midnight Blue, which was a great episode. Episode 4 was uber punny. Yes, it was very uber punny. The people are really liking the puns from the last episode of The Last of Us. A lot of that punny stuff actually comes from The Last of Us Part 2. I've been playing The Last of Us Part 2 again, and I'm seeing a lot of things that happen in Part 2, you know, little side things that they've been putting into this first season of the show on HBOmax. John Burns to Orville should have had a second episode where Gordon tries to defend Oren from being extradited to the Krill. Oh, going back. I mean, he could go back and protect Oren from ever getting captured, right? Save him and his family, his wife and his daughter. Poor Oren. Who he's isn't he John Aston's son in real life? The actor that plays him. What's his name? Is it? I can't remember his name. But anyway, really love that episode. I watched a little bit of that episode the other day too, not the whole thing. JP, do you have pictures of that event? I would love to have seen that from your perspective. I did a video from the event, a first impression video of Electric Sheep. No details. It was spoiler free. I didn't want to spoil it for anyone because it was like a week before the show aired on Hulu. I took a couple of pictures. John Cassar, you know, producer, executive producer, and director of a lot of the episodes, he took a picture of me. I had my picture. Someone took a picture. Oh, it was Ann Winter's mom took a picture of me and Ann Winters. I've put those up on Twitter, but I mean that was forever ago. I put a lot of stuff up on Twitter, so it would take you ages to find it. I'll have to redo it. I know I took some bad pictures, just not super clear pictures with Peter Macon. I took a short video of Seth MacFarlane. He went up on stage and sang a couple songs at the after party. I didn't take a picture with him though. I felt weird. I was so honored to be a guest there. I didn't want to be a fanboy. I wanted to be like just one of the crowd. There's a lot of celebrities there and stuff. So I didn't take a lot of pictures. But in my first impression video of the episode, in the background, you can see behind me, you can actually see Jessica Zor talking to some people. But I got to meet everybody. It was great. The cast was coming up to me, hey, Egotastic FunTime, and other people were coming up to me. So I was pretty busy. I felt weird taking my camera out, my phone out, even though a lot of other people were. Even some of the celebrities were taking pictures. I should have done it. It's one of the things I do regret a little bit. I should have took more pictures. I saw a rumor that Disney is considering selling Hulu. How would that affect the Orville? Well, the Orville is on Disney Plus as well because they're owned by Disney Plus, just like they're owned by Hulu. I would assume if they sell Hulu, I don't know what would happen because Hulu is just the United States of A thing, whereas Disney Plus is a worldwide thing. Disney Plus is how the Orville's, all the seasons of the Orville were given to the rest of the world to view. What was that, August 10th of last year? And I do have a theory, though. I have nothing to base this on, but one of the partial owners of Hulu is, what's it called? Comcast. And Comcast is NBC. So NBC does have a share in Hulu as well. So I'm wondering if the Orville, if Hulu is sold or not sold, what happens if Comcast, NBC, gets some sort of ownership of the Orville, and they got Peacock now. And guess who works for NBC and for Peacock now? Seth MacFarlane does. Seth MacFarlane is an employee of Peacock and an employee of Disney. So I have a possible projection that what if the Orville ends up on Peacock? I would be totally happy. I love Peacock. I watch Peacock almost every day. They got a lot of great stuff that appeals to me. So I'd be happy with it. But of course, there'll be part of the fandom's like, oh man, I gotta get another streaming service. I'm like, no, you can just get rid of the one that doesn't have the Orville and transfer that subscription over to Peacock instead, which will be cheaper, especially if you get it with commercials. With ads, Peacock's only $5. Without ads, double it. I had to actually, like a month or so ago, I turned my Hulu account into a with ads, because it's like $6 a month, which is half the price. But yesterday, since I realized, I want to do streaming I want to do watch parties of the Orville, but I don't want commercials when I do that. So I had to up my subscription to Hulu to the without ads one. So I was like, oh man, but hey, it's worth it because we're gonna have a great time without commercials. Don't want commercials because I don't want the watch party to be stagnated with commercial breaks all of a sudden, and everyone has to pause. And people that don't have commercial breaks, even people with commercial breaks, would probably have to pause because possibly the commercial breaks would come at slightly different times for everybody and slightly different lengths. Yeah, a week or two ago, they announced that Archmage. Apparently, they just announced that the show Reboot is officially dead as no one else wanted it. Okay, because I do know, that must be really recent then, because I do know that one of the other streaming services requested the scripts for season 2 of Reboot to see if it's something that they're interested in. So if you're talking about super recent, maybe they decided, whatever streaming service decided that they didn't want to reboot, which of course is about a reboot. I think that is worth the experiment right there, to do a reboot of a show that's a reboot of a fake reboot of a fake show. Mackenzie Aston as Orin. Yes, Mackenzie, that is correct. I remember that now. Wow, how many kids did John Aston have? There's also Samwise, Sean Astin from Lord of the Rings, who I've met. Cool dude. Oh, that's awesome. I always wanted to meet him ever since the Goonie days. Joe says, greetings programs. I do like this time slot. Oh, good. I like it too, because we can go in, start our day, and then I can go back to making more things. I've been doing an experiment for February because YouTube decided to monetize, starting in February 1st, a week or so ago, decided to start monetizing shorts. So I've been doing an experiment to test that theory. I've been putting up 3 or 4 shorts a day. No notifications. I turn off notifications for shorts because otherwise people are going to be bothered for 15-second videos, and I don't want to do that. That was my initial reluctance to start doing shorts, was I don't want to bother people. But I figured that all out, and man, the shorts have been going well. I don't know how the monetization's going to go, but I've been getting views just thanks to shorts. Just in the last 28 days, I've gotten 1.4 million extra views thanks to the shorts. I don't know if that's going to transfer into any type of monetary support, but it does bring in new subscribers. And one great thing for people that want to know, if someone sees your shorts, your other videos will pop up in their home feed, and vice versa. If someone watches one of your longer videos, your shorts will also pop up on their home screen. So it's a great way to get more attention. Whether or not it transfers into anything that's worth it, I'll have to wait and see at the end of the month. Pranakasha, thank you so much for helping to support the channel and the cause of being allowed to be a fan and allowed to like the things that you like. The Orville crew at Star Trek Las Vegas 2023. Woohoo! Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Still waiting to hear about the Orville. Right now I'm working on an outline for a script for the Orville. I'm going to go talk a little bit about season 1, a little bit about season 2, and the problems getting to season 3, and then the reception of season 3, and then the renewal. Are we getting a renewal? This is how it will be hypothesizing about it. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it not too long. I would love a video to be 5 to 8 minutes, no longer than that. So I'm going to have to breeze through the first 2 seasons. It'll be more of a history of the first 2 seasons. When it aired, viewer response, critics, and then how that changed for season 2, and then we'll go to season 3. I just got to figure out how to do it just right. It's going to be a lot of editing, though. It's not one of those my dumb bearded face talking to the camera. It's one of those documentary style videos. John Smith says, so sick of the Orville subreddit. They take everything Disney does as some sort of death knell for the Orville. I know they've done that, and yet everybody loved most people absolutely adored season 3, and Disney was in control the entire time. And they didn't do all these things that people say that Disney does. It's just one of those things it's one of those toxic things that people stand up for because they want to stand up for something, and all the toxic people are looking for anything to point fingers at, made up or not made up, or make or blow up some situation into something that it isn't really. They just need something to latch onto that they get other people to stand up to and join them on so that they can get those clicks. I see it all the time. And when it's not Disney, it'll be something else. People are like, Disney's going to make it into the Orville into a little kid show. No, and if you go on Disney Plus, you'll see tons of adult content on Disney Plus. But we'll see what the whole Bob Iger thing. It's Iger, right? I always forget if it's Iger or Iver. I think it's Iger. We'll see how that goes. Oh, thanks, Rob Hughes. Rob says, I would rather have notifications because I am a consumer of all your fine videos. Well, thank you very much, Rob. When it comes to shorts, when you go to someone's YouTube channel now, it's another YouTube update, it'll have 3 tabs. One that says videos, one that says shorts, and one that says live. So you click on all those and it'll show you all that stuff, whatever category you click on. But yeah, if I send out notifications for all the shorts I put up, people are going to be pretty mad. I wouldn't want those, but I very much appreciate you, Rob Hughes, for saying that. They see my shorts, they would run away. Oh yeah, that's why I prefer a box of briefs. No, I'm having fun with these shorts because they're all just gonna be fun, right? I just find something funny, edit it the way I want to edit it, and put it out. It's getting me, it's getting the channel a lot of attention, but I don't know how long YouTube's gonna push shorts. They're pushing the shorts right now. Like even last month before they were monetized. Even before they were monetized, the first week of January, they started pushing them hard. Every time I put out a short, no notifications or anything, they would always get at least 2,500 views in the first hour, and then they turn off the faucet and you get no views. But then there's always the possibility, and this has been happening to me, a few weeks later, that same short all of a sudden takes off and people start watching it all the time. So if you have a YouTube channel, even if you don't have a YouTube channel, you can put out shorts and they're instantly monetized. So, instead of doing that 4,000 hours of watch time until you can get monetized and have 1,000 subscribers, if you put out a shorts channel, they're more than likely going to get some attention and they're monetized instantly. No matter what. I just don't know if that monetization is going to convert to anything unless you get 10 million views for a video. That's the experiment that I'm running this month. What's up, Grumpus? Hey, buddy, how's it going? Glad I caught some of your live stream. I'm glad you're here. I've started doing, last week I started trying out an earlier slot. Most YouTubers are streaming at night. I'm like, well, why don't I do it in the morning? To stand apart a little bit. Maybe people, might enjoy that. Start their day off with a positive fandom. Yeah, Seth does love the quick gags. It's actually the cutaways that, that Family Guy was doing. All, they still do them now, I assume, but all 20 years ago, that's when I was first introduced. Most of us were introduced to these quick cutaway jokes. I fell in love with that style, that format, all the way back then. So I love being able to do that. And even when I was making tons of regular Egotastic FunTime videos and Orville videos, I would do quick cutaways to just, drive whatever little joke home just that little bit more and make people, laugh when they weren't expecting to. John Burns, that would be cool. Personally, I think there is a possible Orville Futurama crossover coming up since they are both Hulu properties, even if it's just a quick gag. I think if there's an Orville Futurama crossover, it'll be on the Futurama side. Just like Family Guy did a little bit of crossovers. They would tell some Orville jokes on Family Guy. They did it for a few different episodes. Archmage Phrase says someone should recut the old show Salute Your Shorts into quick 1-minute shorts and post them to YouTube. Yes, you should do it. You can have a channel that does that, Archmage. You got lots of great ideas. You should get it going. I try to keep my shorts no longer than 21 seconds. I love a 12-second short. Just in and out. People don't even have time to realize what was going on. They just know they laughed, and then they keep watching it over again to double check what they just heard. John Burns talking to Rob Hughes. Do you watch Family Guy? Because it could be a one-off in a Family Guy episode, so you might not see it at all. Yeah, Family Guy. I could see Family Guy putting Futurama and the Orville together in one episode. I think they've made references to both shows at this point. Yeah, Pranakasha, shorts will bring people into your channel. And if somebody watches one of your shorts, your long form stuff will, at least for probably a couple days, will show up in their home feed. And the home feed is where you want your stuff to show up. Most people, the stuff that they watch is just stuff that's right on their home feed. Of course, Rob Hughes watches Family Guy. It's a great series. Joy says early is good. I agree. I'm up early. I'm usually up by 5 or 6. Well, usually I'm up a couple hours before that, just lying in bed wishing I could go back to sleep. And then I say F it, and then I get up. We need an Orville episode on Lower Decks. That one might be tougher, because then you're getting into lawyers. Lawyers got to approve it on both ends. Yeah. John Smith says, any Family Guy crossover would most likely be a cutaway gag. This is like when I was mistaken for the captain of the Orville or something, and then it cuts away. Oh, Kunk on Earth. Oh, that was so good. I've been diving into I can't remember the actor's name that plays Philomena Kunk. Apparently she's been doing that character for years on the BBC, so I've been diving into that, and even watched a little bit of the show Mandy, which she's the star of. Very similar type of humor, but I really want to get into some full episodes of that show as well. Yeah, John Burns says, JP trying to convince his wife that his 12-second short is really 24 seconds. She'd probably prefer it to be 6 seconds just to get it over with. Hurry up. Archmage Frey, I'm imagining a scene where they have Bortus as one of the heads in a jar in Futurama. That could be done. You can do that. That'd be easy. You just find a still clip of Bortus saying whatever, and then you just superimpose a jar, maybe cut it at the neck and put some other image over it. All can be done. Kalon Bender. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. John Smith, I haven't watched Family Guy since they caged to the Apu backlash and recast Cleveland. I think that was Mike Henry's decision for the most part. Mike Henry, who's played Cleveland forever, also plays Lieutenant Dan on the Orville. He no longer felt comfortable playing a character of a different race. It was just wasn't that long ago, a year or two ago, that he made an announcement that he feels someone else it would be better. So yeah, I don't even know if that was a Family Guy thing, but an actor thing. But yeah, we need the Orville renewed. And like I said, and like the cast and crew keep saying, not the crew, but the crew that works on the show, they say just be patient. And I have no problem doing that. I'm just going to be patient because I know it's going to be worth it to be patient. I was definitely patient between season 2 and season 3. That took a little while. Luckily, we had some the world going to hell to keep us distracted for a little while. John, what's going on? John Palange. Hey, JP, good to catch you live. Congrats on getting married thing. Thank you so much. I love being a family man. I guess that was my calling. I never thought it was, but it just felt right. And actually, right after this stream, I got to get ready and go to Walgreens to pick up some medicine for the kid. Got to go over to Walgreens. And then I got to go to Walmart. I hate going to Walmart, but I got to go to Walmart to get sundries for the family. And then I got to keep working on that outline so I can turn it into a script for that Orville video I want to put out this month. Oh, I hope YouTube pushes it. I hope people watch it because it's going to take a lot of work. But it should be informative. Informative and fun. At Ego R Us, where a fan can be a fan. Yes, fire up the snowmobile. Actually, we have no snow anymore. It all melted over the week. Was it over the weekend? Yes. Wait, was it? When did it snow? What days? Over the weekend. Yes, today is Thursday. So over the weekend, it finally all melted. But man, it took a week. It snowed on last Monday, not the Monday that we just finished, but the one before that. And that snow, that ice lasted on the ground for a full week. It was so lame. And then yesterday and the day before, it just rained nonstop. So also you couldn't really go out because it's just raining all the time. But now it's only partly cloudy. It's not too cold. It's going to get up into the 50s today. I love the 50s. The 50s are pretty great, especially when the sun's out. John Smith says, I remember a Family Guy joke a while back. Peter is watching TV and they announce the Orville coming next. And he shoots the TV and says it takes time away from Family Guy. With a different voice. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that bit. It was all people were going nuts about it. It was all over the social medias, that clip. Yeah, it was like it takes time away from Family Guy. I can't believe you guys got snow. We're 40 miles north of you and got nothing. Oh, lucky. Well, we didn't get snow either. We just got full on ice. It looked like beautiful snow, but you go step on it, it's just ice. John Burns says there's a trailer for another Idris Elba as John Luther out, coming March 10th. Luther was a British police detective who had run-ins in his jeans with serial killers. John breaks out of jail, Andy Serkis, evil. Yeah, I've been seeing promos for that show for years now. Maybe it's like a Columbo where they just keep coming out with a new one. I've never actually watched it though, but I've seen commercials and stuff, and it looks like a dang good show. I like me that Idris Elba. But yeah, I've been enjoying doing these early shows, you guys. John says in North Carolina here, it's 70 degrees, Freedom Height, and gorgeous. 70 degrees. Where I'm at, in the middle of the country, I really enjoy the high 50s and mid 60s. Air just feels different out here. Different temperatures feel different in different places. Back in California, where I grew up, I enjoyed it to be like 70, 72. And then when I moved here, I'm like, oh, 60, 65 kind of feels like 72. Indeed, 60s is shorts weather. Any weather is shorts weather right now on YouTube. You got to put out those shorts. Oh, and another tip for shorts. You know how when you put out for those of you that do YouTube, when you put out a YouTube video, you kind of got to keep it, you got to rein in the title. The title's got to be about what the video's about. No funny inside jokes, no nothing like that. It's got to be legit what your video's about. It's got to be in that title. But with shorts, make it kind of an inside joke. Make it so that people kind of like, huh? And they want to click on it, right? That works better on shorts. Doesn't work on long videos, but it does work on shorts videos. So I've been having fun putting out the type of titles I've always wanted to put out, but it was just a bad idea for YouTube videos. Like I put out one today of Topa asking Gordon out on a date, and I just called it, "She's too young, Sherlock, ... the Orville." That would never work as a regular video. Pranakasha is wearing shorts and Birks right now. I'm just wearing this shirt and this hat, you guys, and these glasses, if you wanted to know. Rob Hughes, I'm in the deep south of Louisiana, and it just hit 59. I am not used to this cold. Louisiana is, when it comes to the deep south, I mean, we get humidity here where I'm at, which isn't the deep south. But man, the deep south gets the true humidity, and that just scares me too much. A few years ago, I went to Atlanta to help out with the Axonar, filming the new Axonar will be coming out sooner than later. And man, the humidity, I was just like, no, this is too much. And I'm used to humidity, but this humidity is the most humid of humidity. John Palanche, so what's the deal with the Last of Us schedule? We can stream on Friday now? I don't know exactly the details. I mean, I could ask my buddy who works on the show or produces the show. I don't know if it's their new streaming time forever for the rest of the season, Fridays instead of Sundays, or if it's just because the cliffhanger was so hardcore last Sunday that they don't want people to have to wait a full week to watch part 2. So maybe it's just being nice, and then they go back to the regularly scheduled program. I don't know, but then why would you want people to have to wait a week plus 2 days to watch the next episode? So I'm assuming it's going to be an every Friday thing, which works better for me, I can tell you. But yeah, I don't know the full deal. I don't know if they're thinking, oh, people will have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to watch the new episode, and they don't have to limit their viewing time because of work schedules and stuff like that. I'm betting that's more it. The show's doing well, so like, let's give people even more of a chance to watch the show, because that's money. Money is the only thing that really matters when it comes to entertainment. Maybe not to the creators, but to the people that stream these things or put these shows on their platform. What's up, Indian Guide? Man, envy. Northern Ontario here. We had -40 the other day. Oh, goodness. And wind chill at the temp of Celsius/Fahrenheit. It's all the same, but now it's only -1. Tropical for this time of year. Oh man, that -1, gotta love it. every once in a while during the winter, not every winter, but every couple of winters, we'll have some of those days that are in the negative, Fahrenheit wise. And as long as it's not windy in any way, shape, or form, it's okay. It's not bad. But if it's windy, even if it's a little bit chilly outside and it's windy, the wind chill is hardcore over here. Oh, Rob Hughes, see, that's something I always forget to even consider. Rob Hughes says, I think it's because the Super Bowl. That makes sense. That makes sense. You're probably right, Rob Hughes. I never consider sports ball. It's not even in my brain. So when there's been a few events over Super Bowls or games over the last 5 to 7 years where that's been the case. That's probably correct. We figured it out. Rob figured it out. and I rode on his coattails. Pranakasha, speaking of Deep South, I went to Air Force Tech School in Biloxi, Mississippi, back in the Dizzy. And by Dizzy, I mean day. I'm young, hip, and with it, you guys, so I say Dizzy. And it never annoys anybody. Rob Hughes says, John Smith, Jinx, you owe me a Coke. I hope you're talking about the soft drink. I hope it sticks to Friday too, John. That just works way better for me. What's up, Michael Sean Carter? Good morning from Illinois. JP, happy Thursday. Or Illinois. I always say noise. Illinois, but it's Illinois. The French way. Rob Hughes says, I only care who wins the Puppy Bowl. Heck, I might have to actually watch the Super Bowl this year. Jessica's family is really into football. I don't think they care about any of the teams playing this year, but I'm sure they'll be watching, and it'll probably have to be an event, so I might actually have to go and watch. What's up, Michael Sean Carter? Welcome to Egotastic FunTime. Mornings. Good morning, FunTime. Oh, and John Smith said it actually right before Rob Hughes. Yeah, you guys both owe each other a Coke. John says, I think it's just for the Super Bowl. Both of you guys, John and Rob. The Smith-Hughes combo. You guys know you have to become best friends now, right? That's just how it works. John Smith, although technically we don't know if she would be too young, since apparently Mocklins can age from baby to the equivalent of human 5 years old between seasons. Yes, Topa at that age, no matter what she looks like, her age is like 3 years old. I'm guessing she's 16, 17, 18, which for me would still be too young. Well, especially the 16, 17, but 18 is too young for me too. 21 is too young for me too. But in Earth years, she's only 3. So there's probably even a bigger problem with that. But even if that wasn't the case, that's Bortus's daughter. Stay away. That'd be worse than when Stanley thought Ryan was flirting with his daughter on The Office. Philip Miller says, if you get roped into a superb owl party, do what most non-sports ball fans do. Watch it for the commercials. That's even hard nowadays because a lot of the commercials they put out on YouTube a day or two before. Even that people can't wait for. Oh, I got to get my hands on those commercials. Oh, what's Pepsi doing this year? Doritos, damn. John Smith says, I'm friendly with one of those people who watch for the commercials. People, and I'm not ashamed. Yeah, a lot of people watch for the commercials. But I remember like last year, or whenever the last time they had a Super Bowl, because I don't know if anything got canceled because of the whole pandemic or whatever. Yeah, I just watched all the commercials a day or two before on YouTube. Rob Hughes says he can be the Lamar to my Gordon, and we can share the brain cell. Just one brain cell between you. Pranakasha Productions, I have abandoned Coke. Now it's LaCroix, or LaCroix as the company actually calls it, I believe, and or kombucha all the way. Yeah, I gave up sodas, oh man, 5-6 years ago, and never even miss them. But what I do is I get the bubbly waters. There's different brands, whichever one's on sale. I get the bubbly waters, and I add like 3 squirts of lime or lemon juice, ice, of course, and I wish I could find this one brand I've been looking for. I can't find it at any of the stores, but I'll put Mio, off-brand Mio in there. But I wish I could find this other brand that I've researched, but nobody sells it in my area, that doesn't have any of the dyes. I'm trying to get away from any of these food dyes. Everything has food dyes, and food dyes are not good for you, especially that red 40. But none of them are good for you. A lot of the food dyes are actually banned in other countries. What's up, Ken F? Cheers from British Columbia, Canada. Any news on the Orville? We recently did get news a week or two ago, and the news is that there's no news. And that's from a Hulu executive. They said, we love the Orville, we love the fans love it, but they don't have anything to say at the moment. But what they didn't say is that it was canceled. It's not canceled. It's still up for renewal. I think they're just having a big business meeting to figure out the logistics of getting us more Orville, and that stuff is just going to take time. Business time. Oh, Johnny, I love that piece. Love it. It's nice. It's made of wood, painted to look like silver. It's heavy. It does the circle, which I love the circle thing. I put all my stuff on a circle shape. All the channel emojis for members to use, which I still need to update. I put some new ones on there, but I'm going to get rid of those and find some other things to put up for these emojis. Some other images. There is no news. In Borda's voice, says Robbie's. Yeah, there is no news right now. No news is good news. But I would very much prefer news that was actually news. Like we're getting another season and beyond. Archmage Frey, just liking the cleaning product Bon Ami. They officially pronounce it Bon Ami. Kind of like you would assume Brad Pitt from Inglourious Bastards would say it. Bon Ami. Bon Ami. Bon Ami is how I pronounce it. That's the French way. Bon Ami. Indian guy, JP, I see your axe rack behind you. Can I ask which is your personal favorite or most used? And any suggestions, tips, or for a new player like me? First tip, just keep playing. Just keep playing. Learn some chords. And just keep doing them, and you'll just get better and better. You'll build calluses. Your fingers will eventually just start going the right places. You won't have any buzz sound. You'll get a nice clean a strum there, and also individual notes. My favorite is actually the Fender acoustic, but it's broken right now. One of the knobs for the tuning machine is broken, and I can't really tune it very easily. So I bought a bunch of stuff to fix it, but I bought the wrong knobs. They don't fit. So I'm looking for the right knobs. The right knobs, I found them online. They're only like $2 or $3, but the shipping is like $15 to $20. And I'm like, oh no, I'll have to wait till another payday, maybe next month, and then I'll order those. But yeah, I love me a nice acoustic because you can just pick it up and play it. I hate wires. But I do like my Epiphone, my electric, the Epiphone. But I gotta bust out all my pedals and my chords and all that stuff, which I keep planning on doing. But then I'm like, oh, the crap will be all over the floor, and I hate that. but I got to do it anyway. What is that, an Ibanez? I haven't even played that in 20 years. Yeah, I have the Ibanez electric. That was my first, not really my first electric guitar, but my first good electric guitar. But it has Floyd Rose tuning, and Floyd Rose tuning is great once you get it all tuned and locked in, and then you just make little adjustments. But I hate restringing the damn thing. I hate restringing a Floyd Rose guitar. Rob Hughes, thank you for your support. JP, thank you for keeping the fandom going. Oh, we're always going to do that. We're going to keep this fandom going until we all start dying off. Which we'll always have new fans coming, because I firmly believe we will be getting new Orville. Don't quote me on it, but except for the fact I believe it. I'm a believer. Because I've got faith of the Orville. Nothing's going to bend or break me. Michael Albert, can't order them to be delivered to a local music store or Guitar Center. I went to Guitar Center. I just wanted the knob. I just need a knob. One damn 10-cent knob. But they only sell the full set with all the gear and everything for like $70. And they didn't offer the option to order, but I'm going to look into it, because I don't want to spend $15 for shipping for a $1 part. But yeah, Michael, I am, because I'm passionate about getting this thing back up and working. I have that Ovation acoustic, which was it was originally my uncle's, who gave it to my grandmother. My grandmother, after many years, gave it to me because she hates it. But it was my grandmother, so it's kind of just like a little trophy of my love for my grandmother. A trophy. But yeah, I hate it too. It sucks. I guess Ovations are great if you have a nice, fancy, expensive one. You can plug it in. It's got the pickup built in. Michael Albert says, haven't the Orville actors all been released, and some of them are doing other projects now? I know they've all been released, because it's going to be a while, so they need to go out there and use that time to go do something else before they come back, because they spent 3 years doing just season 3 of the Orville, so they're all itching to go and, you know, do their jobs in other ways and on other projects before they come back. I do know that of course, Seth MacFarlane and Scott Grimes are working. It's already been filmed, so they're done, actually. It's just being edited and prepared for release. The new Ted series, which is, of course, Seth MacFarlane's series. The new Ted series, you know, the teddy bear. I put out Ted shorts as well. Those do pretty well. They're doing that. Jessica Zord did a Christmas romantic comedy for Discovery Plus, but of course that's done and over with. Some of the crew are working on the new Ted series, and I'm sure. Oh, and Kit Stolen was concept artist for the Orvilles, worked on Picard season 3. His work's probably done as well. I do know that Jay Lee told me that he had, you know, he wrote a script that he wants to film, and he's going to do it, but he scheduled it so that he can get it done and be available if the Orville comes back. So yeah, they're doing other projects because they have plenty of time to do them, and these actors need to keep working. That's the whole point of being an actor. I mean, you can get lucky and get a show, but once that show's done, you need to still work because everything's expensive out there. But yeah, I think there's plenty of time for them to move on to other projects, other films, other TV shows. And then once the Orville starts back up and they're needed on the Orville set, they got plenty of time to do it. Because, you know, even if the Orville started working on a new season this summer, so that's still plenty of time to work on other things until it's your time to show up on set. Hi, do you know what was the cost of a single Orville episode? if we get all together, perhaps we can do some sponsorship ourselves. We wouldn't have to wait for Hulu to make up their minds. Legally, you might, though. I'm sure there's lawyers in there that's like, no, it's ours. No one else can have a piece of it. But I don't know. I have wondered many times how much one episode of the Orville costs. I've been wanting to send my question into the crew to get a number on that. My guess, of course, many millions, but gosh, it could be 10, 20, 30 million to make a single episode of the Orville. It's an expensive show. Seth has said it's a very expensive show, and once you see what's gone into it, they'll have 200-300 people working on set just for one episode at a time. It's pretty pricey. So my guess is tens of millions per episode. I do know that The Last of Us, their entire 9-episode season, cost $500 million for The Last of Us this first season, and I'm sure the Orville is close to that for an entire season. John Smith says, I definitely wouldn't mind being caught under the mistletoe with Jessica Zor. She's a pretty lady, and she's really nice lady. She's very, very nice person. Michael Albert says, I think the call for Firefly to come back was always partially held back by Nathan Fillion always being committed to other series. I don't know, because he's had plenty of time to finish one of his series that he's been, a million of them at this point, and say, okay, I finished this show. Now let's move back to Firefly. They've hired me again. He's had plenty of times to move back to Firefly. I just think it's more than just Nathan Fillion. I think it's the writers, the producers, Fox. Also, I think it would be bad for Fox to bring back Firefly for primetime television. Those shows, just like the Orville, would not have made it if it was on primetime television. Those expensive sci-fi shows do not last very long on primetime. John Burns' new trailer of a movie with Matt Damon. Matt Damon! And Ben Affleck and Jason Bateman about how Nike created Air Jordan based on Michael Jordan before he even played in the NBA. Oh, that sounds fun. If it's on streaming, I'll watch it. Maybe. I like those peeps. Michael says, Orville has a lot more expensive special effects than The Last of Us. Yeah, but the Last of Us does have big special effects and big areas to film in. Very big areas to film in. But also, I never know how much stuff really costs, because there's always, in everything, especially on the West Coast, everyone's dipping in, trying to get their cut. That's why you can't build anything in California. Everyone's just trying to rip off everybody else. You can't fill in a pothole because you got 20 people standing in line to get their cut. So it just drives the price up higher and higher and higher. But yeah, the Orville has more expensive special effects probably than anything. Fringe got 5 seasons. Yeah, that was back in the simple times. But Fringe wasn't super duper sci-fi, like space sci-fi. De Beaumont, JP, good to see you again. Hope your week is going well. Can we get a Jaloja, please? Jaloja, indeed. You all get a Jaloja. Jaloja. Yeah, back in the 90s, you had your space sci-fi. It was doing well, but also space sci-fi back in the day was much cheaper. It was not hard to have just a cheap set with carpets and a bunch of hallways and just have everybody standing talking too close together in a hallway. If you go back and watch TNG, people are just inches apart talking to each other, having conversations. Especially Picard and Riker. Yeah, but week is going well. I hope your week is going well, Beaumont, or is it de Beaumont? Let's call you Resident. Yes, Star Trek was not very expensive. I bet you Enterprise was pretty dang expensive. That's when they really updated stuff. Everything was looking slick. They had much better effects. They had the sexy time on Enterprise. John Burns, Jessica Zora versus Halston Sage. There is no versus. They were both amazing. Yeah, I love both. I love both actors. I love both characters. I do prefer Tala as a chief of security over Halston, though. But I love them both. I mean, nobody beats Unk. For me, Unk's the best ever. Best character on the Orville. All right, Pranakasha, thank you for your support. Thanks for stopping by and adding to the conversation. Got to go finish cleaning out Mom's apartment. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. Pranakasha, best wishes to you and your kin, your family. Awesome, de Beaumont. Should I say de Beaumont or should I just say Beaumont? I'm a tactile reader. I touched it on the screen. Got fingerprints all over my computer screen. Not in a dirty way, you perverts. Rob Hughes, I found out Clyden was on The Walking Dead. Yeah, he played Tyrese, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That I did not know. He guest stars. That's Chad Coleman, Fred Johnson from The Expanse. Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. But he's a perfect Clyden, right? Clyden has a special vibe to him. And I'm so glad Chad was able to find that vibe and perform it correctly. Beaumont says, I was watching Enterprise the other night and noticed how much CGI was implemented in the series. It was impressive. I love the look of the NX-01. I thought the it's all digital and whatnot. I thought the NX-01 looks so good. It was the first ship in Star Trek that just really, they really fancied it up. I just love the look of it. More on the outside than the inside. The inside is just, kind of a submarine. But hey, what you gonna do? At least they had what the heck was that called? Decontamination area where people get to rub sauces all over their bodies. It's like, oh, T'Pol, you need some more sweet and sour sauce? Here you go. First Halston Sage, then Ann Winters. I keep falling for the ladies that don't stay. Yeah, well, Halston comes back every season for a little bit. But yeah, unless they do some fancy sci-fi stuff, I don't see Charlie coming back. But of course you could. They did it with Spock all the time. And they got time travel. You never know. They might accidentally time travel back where Charlie was still alive when we get her for an episode. Or an alternate reality where she never died. Or Priya got her out of the explosion right before so she could go sell her on the black market. I don't know, in the 29th century. But Charlie was written to die even before Anne got cast as the character. So right away, Anne, once she got cast and learned about the character, she knew that her character was going to die at the end of the season. Spoiler alert. Rob Hughes, there's this moment when Chad looks into the camera as Clyden, the same way he did as Z in IASIP. IASIP. I laughed and checked IMDb and I was shocked. John Burns, are you going to ever visit the Enterprise in Ticonderoga, New York? This summer, William Shatner will be there. Would be cool mecha-style destination. Hopefully someday. That would be really nice. First, I got to figure out how to fill my gas tank with gas, and then I'll worry about getting the Ticonderoga. But yeah, that would be awesome. And that's the original Enterprise. Beaumont says, lots of slip and slide with Vaseline in the detox chamber. Yeah, I remember the first few times they did the detox chamber, I was like, oh, dang. And then as I got older, I'm like, calm down, everybody. Just calm down with that that Vaseline. I know why you're putting this in the show. You're trying to sex it up a little bit for the audience. But at the time, I was like, dang, T'Pol crazy. She's making sure she gets every crevice. Yeah, rip Charlie, definitely. Does Halston have a new series? She was working on something. Of course, she was on that murder show, but that got canceled, I think, after the second season. And then she was on that video game that came out last year. And it looked just like her, and it was her. And then there is something else going on. I can't remember what it is, though. But I remember reading something about it. There's always, Joe says, talking to Michael, there's always talks to bring him back. I worry Orville will fall in the same line. Yeah, Orville, as long as Seth is in charge, which there is no Orville without Seth. I've been told that by the show. Now, Seth might end up taking a step back from the hardcore producing side of work that has to be done every season and concentrate more on just playing Ed. I'd be fine with that. But yeah, what point was I making? Oh yeah, I don't worry about the Orville falling in whatever line or not giving the audience exactly what they expect from this type of show. Because it just has the right people. It has the right people making it. JP, do you think the Xindi arc sank Enterprise, having taken a few years to complete? No. I liked the Xindi arc. And that was a very interesting idea at the time, to have a whole season kind of about one thing, but still kind of episodic. No, I dug it. I don't think it sunk it. I think what sunk it is I don't think they were given as much support as they deserved. And then also, what's his face with CBS? He just didn't like sci-fi or Star Trek, so he kind of sank it a little bit. And audiences too were, we have to remember there was 9/11 came out pretty close to the beginning of Enterprise. And people kind of changed a little bit, and Enterprise reflected a lot of, was affected story-wise by 9/11, terrorists, the Xindi threat, stuff like that. And they were doing scripts that kind of were affected by that. And maybe audiences weren't, maybe it was like when they were putting out tons of musicals back in during World War II to keep people's mind off of that type of looming threat, because people didn't want to think about how hardcore and how dangerous life is. Oh, then they did the episode where Phlox and Porthos used the decon chamber. That's a great story. I don't know. It's tough to say. Audiences do change. World events affect us. World events affected my love for going to the movies. I don't care what's in the theater anymore. I'll wait until I can stream it at home. And a lot of that is partially due to the pandemic. I realized, I don't need to go to the theaters anymore. And when I do, someone always ruins it. So why do I keep doing this? I'm tired of having to sneak in snacks to the movies because they overcharge they're ripping me off, man. I really get mad when people openly try to rip you off. The temporal war thing in Enterprise was a word I shouldn't use here. Yeah, time travel stuff gets tough too, unless it's super simple. Like, of course, Quantum Leap is time travel stuff, but it's very simple. You are going to that time, and you have to deal with a situation. It's barely sci-fi, even though it's hardcore sci-fi, but it didn't feel like sci-fi. But yeah, when you get into the temporal stuff, when you get into the what ifs, many audience members get confused because time is complicated. I remember when the episode that we just watched at the watch party on Sunday, Twice in a Lifetime. I remember when that episode dropped, when it aired, and people were so confused. I understood every bit of it because I love time travel stuff. But a lot of audience members, I have to tell you from experience, people asking me questions, they didn't even get the simplest. A lot of people got it hardcore and then some, but a lot of people, general audiences, didn't understand a lick of it. But you go to anything with time travel, and I see in the comments people have a hard time with it. Beaumont says the bottle episode, Doctor's Orders. Oh, that's a fan favorite, isn't it? Where Phlox ran the ship alone and hallucinated. That was my all-time. Yeah, see, it's one of your favorite episodes. That and Shuttlepod 1 are up there for Enterprise. Yeah, that episode, Doctor's Orders, he had to stay up while everyone else had to be put to sleep so that they weren't affected by whatever thing would affect them. But Phlox had the anatomy that can resist it, so they had him run the whole ship. Yeah, and he's on the ship all alone. He starts hallucinating and things start getting weird. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I love time travel stories, but only if they are well told. I love anything that's well told. Well, not anything. I just finished watching the first season. Jessica and I were watching White Lotus on HBOmax. You know, everyone's talking about this show. White Lotus this, White Lotus that. So I'm like, it's only 6 episodes for this first season. Let's check it out. It was not what I thought it was. It was fine. It was well done. But I thought it was going to be a little weirder, a little bit more mystery, strange things happening on an island type of thing. But it was just a regular show with a bunch of people that you don't like and their drama. And I was like, oh, I don't care about all these people's drama. But I watched it. It was well done. John Smith, costs aside, I bet that's why the Marvel, you gonna go to the theater and watch the Marvel? The Marvel What If series is animated, especially since they use the same actors anytime they're available. I think that's definitely not only to satisfy a certain format that people enjoy. Lots of people enjoy animated stuff, right? But also, there is costs to consider with that. Way cheaper to do animated, especially with the type of crazy stuff that goes on in a superhero universe, right? But yeah, I do know that all these superhero businesses, they're businesses now. You got the DC business, you got the Marvel business. They're trying to really make it so that everything crosses over correctly. The actor who plays a character on a film will be the same actor that plays that character making an appearance on a television show or an animated series. James Gunn talked about all of that with the Disney announcement, not Disney, the DC announcement he made. What was it, last week? He goes, we want everything to be connected. I'm like, we'll see. That works for a little while. Like with Marvel, that worked for a little while. It was cool. And now I'm so sick of all the threads. Marvel has too many threads to follow. It's a murder you'll never be able to solve. Too many red threads. I miss back in the day when a superhero movie was a standalone thing. That's why I like all this elsewhere stuff, like the Joker movie, and they're coming out with Joker 2. Standalone. I miss the standalone movies. I don't want to have to watch 30 movies to understand one movie. So, you know, but some people love the interconnected stuff. So they're making stuff for both audiences, which I think is great. John Burns says, I remember a time travel story which mentioned 2 characters that moved 500 years. One was mentioned as going forward in time 500 years and nothing. Another went back in time, and his name was Mike Angelo. I believe that's the Ben Bova series, Orion. That sounds like the Ben Bova series, Orion, where one character was moving forward in time. The good guy was moving forward in time, and the bad guy was moving backwards in time. And they would meet up with each other, and the bad guy knows what's going to happen the next time they meet in time, and the good guy knows what happened the previous time they met back in time. And they're always hoping to just one of them to destroy the other one, but they haven't done it. They keep going one forward and one back. The Marvel What If used different animation styles for each episode. It wasn't just animated to not have live action. It was a stylistic choice. That's always good too. They did that with that Matrix series of animated stuff that came out. The Animatrix. Every movie or episode was a different style of animation. Yeah, that's an artistic choice. For monies. JP, how to increase your range? You are the messenger, the torchbearer of the Orville franchise. We have to find some way to make your light to shine brighter. Thank you, Constellation 982. Well, a lot of it has to do with me. I just need to do better and get a little luckier, and because we're dealing with algorithms and stuff like that. Sometimes the luck is just not on your side with these robots. But also sharing and supporting. It's a great way to keep this going. And I appreciate all of those who support this channel by either, sending those super chats or the Patreon or joining the channel or just being here to add to the conversation. Yeah, I'm 2Brick. White Lotus was amazing. Yeah, I thought it was very well done. I just hated every character except for Armand, played by Murray. I can't remember his last. Bartlett, I think. He played Frank on episode 3 of The Last of Us. I enjoyed his character. He's the only character I felt bad for. Jessica really enjoyed it, and she wants to watch season 2. And I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it, but we got to wait a week or two before we jump into it. I need to watch some other things first, and then we'll jump into it. Because when we start it, we'll watch it until it's done. JP Oka, Big Topic, James Gunn. Okay. I'm so glad you brought him up about DC. DC has, to me, always been so dark and grim. I hope he can bring some light to DC. I have no doubt that he will. I loved his Suicide Squad movie. I love Peacemaker. I even love some of the Marvel stuff he did. And he always brings a lightness. He always doesn't allow any of the characters to take themselves too seriously unless that's part of the joke. John Smith, yeah, I remember one What If episode was centered on Doctor Strange, and I thought this guy's doing a decent Cumberbatch impression, only to find out it was him. Yeah. That's probably the most expensive part, is paying for the actors. Unless they're on contracts. Maybe DC and Marvel are doing the old Hollywood contract system where all these actors are on contracts. They basically have to do whatever you tell them to do because they're on the contract. Yeah, Kunk on Earth. I was so happy to find that. I found it the first day that it aired on Netflix. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? Oh, you don't get this kind of humor often enough. Especially done so well with the cinematography and stuff. And they really made it look like a real, Discovery documentary type show. And then I discovered that she's been playing that character for years on the BBC. So then I started going on YouTube and looking at all well, it's not called Kunk on Earth. It's Kunk something else. Or there's a couple of different specials she's done where she plays that character. There's a ton of it on YouTube. You got to check it out. And she does the same exact thing, talking to professionals about whatever thing from history or the world, and she just acts super daft the whole time. Highly recommend going down a YouTube rabbit hole. Archmage Frey, did anyone here watch the show 7 Days? That sounds familiar. Frank Parker must travel back in time to prevent catastrophes, but he has only 7 days to do it using a time machine by reverse engineered alien tech. That sounds very familiar. 7 days. There was a great time travel show, kind of like with Groundhog Day rules, with what's his name? think it was called Daybreak was the show, but what's his name, the actor that's in it? Anyway, that was a great show. It got canceled after one season, but that first season I think finished out a complete story, so it's worth a watch. Just consider it a really long movie. Nope, John Burns says, JP, that wasn't the series. The main character went back about 30 years, but the first time his experiment happened, the guy experimented with college kids, and McThought, was that Michelangelo? Yeah, that is different. I don't think there was ever an explanation for the one that I'm talking about by Ben Bova. I know he did a whole series with it. I don't think we ever find out why one's traveling forward and one's traveling back. Or we do, but it's not that. And I think it's way more than 500 years. I think it's like thousands of years. Going from caveman days all the way to this hardcore future, thousands of years in the future, with spaceships and stuff. Yes, the actress that plays Philomena Kunk is one of the main characters on Afterlife. She plays the character that's kind of in love with Ricky Gervais's character that also is a co-worker, and she's just kind of weird. That's her. What's up, Jonathan Perez? How you doing? Oh, I need to check the time because I got to get to Walgreens here to pick up some medicine. Yeah, we still got a few minutes left, you guys. Like I said, I want to do this weekly. Indian God, yo, conundrum. It's good. Hey, JP, I noticed today that episode 3 of The Last of Us has quite a low score on IMDb. Actually, it's more complicated than that. I'll talk here in a second. I feel sorry for those who can't enjoy it due to their own prejudices. It's actually even more obvious than that. It actually has an incredibly high score and an incredibly low score, but hardly anything in between. So you got the regular viewers just gave it a 10 out of 10. So many. And then you got the haters, the people that have hate in their heart, are giving it a 0 score. And then everything in the middle is just hardly anything. It's either really high or really low, and we know where the low the low grades are coming from. Yeah, it's super obvious, and everyone's pointing out. It's like, oh, that kind of shows what's really going on, or else there would be a lot more in the middle, because it's 0 through 10. Archimage says, it scrolled up. Hold on, let me scroll back. Archimage says, I also liked Early Edition. It was about a guy who got tomorrow's newspaper every morning and trying to save people. Oh, that's pretty cool. Where do I find that? Is that a book? If it's a show or a movie, I'll get to it much faster. All right, Joy Don, thanks for coming by. Thanks for adding to the conversation. And just thanks for hanging out with me. We will see you next time. Michael Albert says, JP, did you ever review the Disney Plus series Willow? No, I never watched it. I was never that big of a fan of Willow, except for to make, references to pop culture, like, you truly are great, and stuff like that. But no, I know some people love it, some people hate it. But that's everything nowadays. You can't trust anything, because there's going to be plenty of both. A lot more of the negative on everything, just because that's how people feel they can get viewed. And really, it's all about the views nowadays in the social media world. It's like, I need people to look at me and validate my existence. And the best way to do that is to complain. So I don't know if it's good or bad, but I do feel like I wouldn't probably love it. Just because watching the... and I think this was the case with the original movie as well. You got this fantasy world, and you got some people speaking American English, you got some people that are British, and you got probably trolls talking like trolls. And I'm like, let's get consistent with the accents here, show. I need to not be taken out of the universe. I like to be taken over by whatever I'm watching, and really adhere to the rules of the universe. But I like Warwick Davis quite a bit. That's where I knew her from, the sad girl from Afterlife. That was a good show. Yeah, Afterlife was great. Some crazy funny stuff happened in that show as well. Some really heartfelt stuff happened in that show. But yeah, I was the same way. I watched Conk on Earth, the first episode. I'm like, God, where do I know this actor from? And it took me like 2 days to realize, oh, she was on Afterlife. It took forever. In this book, says John Burns, it was a first law of thermodynamics. So to send someone back, you need to send someone forward an equal amount of time. Understand? Where one went forward 500 and the other one went back 500. Yeah, that's yeah, not only thermodynamics, but also for every action, you know, an opposite and equal reaction type of deal. I get it. Boom, John Burns says action, reaction. Joy Dawn says, like and subscribe, people. Yeah, Joy Dawn said it. And I agree. I'm 2Brick. I only liked Last of Us Episode 3. You only liked The Last of Us Season 3, but we'll keep trying. And that episode's kind of a standalone episode. That's very interesting. I haven't heard that opinion yet, but I bet you there's a lot of people out there. Because also, to be honest, you know, zombie universes, which this basically is, even though I feel it's way more than that. It's about finding hope. Just like the first game is about allowing yourself to feel hope again in a horrible world. Part 2, spoiler alert, but not really, is about vengeance and how vengeance affects you. How it can destroy you. Vengeance, a very good message for season 2/3 as well. But yeah, it's a very interesting take on that. I haven't heard that one before. I like it. I didn't even consider that. All right, Joe, thanks for stopping by. It was good to see you. I'll see you soon. Hopefully you can make it to the watch party this Sunday. We'll be watching The Orville, New Horizons, Episode 9, Domino. Early Edition was a CBS show. Oh, that might be why I missed it. I very rarely, and this isn't an opinion on CBS, the company, or anything like that. I very rarely watch CBS shows unless they're classics, like I Love Lucy or something like that. Was Twilight on CBS? Probably. And that's just because I've never really, the appeal of CBS, their cinematography, the camera quality, the filters they use, a lot of corny sitcoms never appealed to me that well. But every once in a while they'll come out with something that I really like. Like I thought Big Bang Theory, I thought that was an okay show. But I really liked Young Sheldon. I didn't think I was going to like it at all, but I really like it a lot more. Because I also prefer the way Young Sheldon is filmed. It's like a one-camera sitcom as opposed to in front of a studio audience, 3-camera setup, which a lot of sitcoms still do till this day. Early Edition TV series, 1996. Oh, you going back in the day. I know exactly why I missed that show. Not sure where it was streaming. Maybe Paramount. Where it is streaming. Maybe Paramount. I'm like, yeah, there was no streaming back then. But if it was CBS, I'll look it up, see if they have it. But yeah, 1996 to 2000, that was a hard time for me personally in my life to watch things. Because that was my young days. I was going out to party, to hang out with the peeps, to go to Denny's at 2 a.m. and have a grand slam breakfast. Rob Hughes, JP, I freaking love everything you do. I need to get to the druggist yourself, or myself probably. do better, because we all do better with you doing better. Well, thank you, Rob Hughes. I appreciate that. That makes me feel good. You know, a lot of times it's very discerning. That's not the right word. Anyway, you know, the YouTube game is just weird. It'll just push you down. It'll make you second guess yourself. You want to put out something, you're like, you know what? I'm looking at these analytics. I probably shouldn't put that out. No one will watch it, even though maybe everybody will watch it. So I appreciate that. It makes me feel livened up, makes me want to do these streams and hang out with you guys, because so far, after all these years, that's the best part. John Burns, do you do much gaming? Are you going to do any gaming streams with the Harry Potter game, or are you intimidated with the J.K. Rowling commentary? Oh, I don't care about the commentary at all, because that's none of my business. But a Harry Potter game I probably wouldn't play. But also the games that I do play, because I am a gamer, I just never have time to play. So I really have to carve out time to sit down and play, which I've been carving out time this week just to play The Last of Us 2 for the millionth time. But also I can't really afford new games, so I play the old games that I have. And back when I did have money to buy games. But yeah, I probably wouldn't pay money for a Harry Potter game. But yeah, also I know I see people online boycotting strange things that don't matter, like a video game or even AMC. I make jokes about boycotting AMC because it's so easy. People are already doing that without even realizing it. And but yeah, I never take political stands on entertainment. If I take a stand, it'll be about going against an oppressive government out in the world somewhere. Early Edition is not streaming. But yeah, gaming streams, I don't mind. I would love to do them, but people don't like them. I've done tons of gaming streams back on Twitch back in the day. I mean, a ton of them. And people would show up to chat, and then I'd start playing the game, and they're like, okay, F this, and they click off. But if I was doing streams with just talking like we're doing now, people show up, they stay, they talk, they do all kinds of great, we have great conversations. But as soon as I start playing, everybody takes off, because there's so much of that in the world. And even I watch some of that. Like if I'm interested in a game, I'll watch one of the YouTubers or Twitch streamers play that game for a little bit. But it's never worked very well for me. So and plus I love getting into the story of it. I play third-party games for the most part with big stories, and so I have a hard time taking my attention away from that story that I'm trying to get into, just like a film. It's like chatting through it's like talking all throughout a movie, right? Which I'm gonna do this Sunday for the Orville watch party. But so the Orville watch parties are all something we've already seen. We just want to have a great time talking while something we love is playing on the screen. That's been different. The watch parties have always been great because I purposely talk through the whole thing. But yeah, right now I'm playing Last of Us 2 for the millionth time. But I can only play for like an hour at a time, and then I have to pause it, turn off the game, and go back to doing the YouTubes. Indian Guy says, I very much appreciate this kind of engagement from and with yourself, JP, and from this community. I look forward to more and hope that we get that guitar fixed. Oh yeah, I'm really wanting to get back to be able to just pick up a guitar and play. It's been broken for at least a year now, and I decided, enough is enough. I miss playing. I used to do it all the time. I would always fit in, at least a few minutes every day. I can even do some of my work here while playing, like practicing. Never had a PlayStation 4, and I can't bring myself to pay $500 for a PlayStation 5, so I'll probably never play The Last of Us, but I love the show. Well, one great thing about the show, The Last of Us, is you don't have to have played the game. You do get a little extra having played the game, some backstories and stuff like that, but also you never know what they're going to change in the show so far everything they've changed in the show lifts the game universe, which is great, but it's not required to play the game. Actually, I'm a little bit jealous of some people who watch the show but never even saw anything about the game. They don't know what's coming up. That's a privilege with a story like this, is not knowing what's going to happen. So far, though, I love that even though I pretty much know everything that's going to happen, they still surprise me. Either happens a slightly different way, but you still get the same result, or you get some great backstory stuff that wasn't there before. I much prefer new Bill as opposed to old Bill from the game, who, spoiler alert, in the game is fine. He's fine. He's doing well. He's alive, I assume. Most of the streamers I watch can talk and game. Yeah, I do that. I do that, but it is... I barely... Usually, the ones that I see just talk about the game, and I've done that too. And people just don't tune in. I mean, I could talk and play the game as well, but people, they just don't tune in when I do it. Or they tune in, but then they're like, oh, this isn't for me, and they tune off. But also, I just really get into stories. So I get distracted by stories. Or I usually actually get distracted by the chat. So I'm not paying as close of attention to the game, which is very story-based. Which I just prefer to keep it private then. Just enjoy games for myself, I guess. Just like I kind of enjoy watching Star Trek for myself. But we will be talking about the new Picard series, which premieres 7 days from today, I guess. In 7 days, there's Picard Season 3, which people are apparently, even the haters of the first two seasons, are pretty excited for this new season. We'll be talking about it. I don't know if I'll be doing videos about it. I might. We'll have to see. I did actually contact through Twitter today, right before I started the stream, like 10 minutes before, Terry, what's his last name? Metalis? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. The showrunner for Picard 3, and said, hey, I want to talk about Picard as well. Here's some of my credentials. So we'll see if I hear back with that. Maybe I'll get some interviews with some of the cast of Picard. But yeah, I could talk in game, but I'm just not doing either to my full potential. And as Ron Swanson always says, never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing. Chess streamers had a big boom on Twitch during lockdown. Yeah, a lot of the... Twitch did very well. All streaming anything. YouTube did very well, too. Anything streaming did very well during lockdown. And what's funny is you say chess streamers. My stepson is big into chess. He's been making me play chess with him every week. He even just created his own version of chess with new rules. So I got him some blank chess pieces unfinished chess pieces that he can carve to have them look like all these characters he created the chess pieces to be. I need to get him a whittling knife and some model paint so he can paint them to look the way he wants them to be. But yeah, he loves chess. He studies it all the time. He'll play Call of Duty, and then he'll spend some time learning how to get better and better at chess, learning all the special maneuvers and strategies. And then he uses them on me. Archmage Ray, that's the biggest real criticism I have seen about episode 3, that it robs us of the interaction between Bill and Ellie in the future. It's sad that any real critique gets drowned up by hate. Exactly. It's hard to be critical of anything without being swallowed up by all the haters out there. And the haters will latch on to what you just said in a nice, plain, critical fashion, and they'll latch onto it, and then they'll think that you're hating too. And then they want to bond with you over hateful stuff. I had that problem years ago with this channel, and I decided, you know what? No, I'm not going to criticize stuff like that anymore. If I criticize something, it's going to be about camera angles or something like that, or whether I cared about something or didn't care about something. Funny thing about watching game streaming, watching the first 2 episodes of The Last of Us felt a lot like watching someone play the game or a game like it, like Fallout 4. Which Fallout is, that isn't Amazon coming out with a Fallout live action series? I'm interested in that. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, the Last of Us felt a lot. Yeah, the especially the episode 4. Well, episode 1 and 2 is very much like the game for the most part, but also except for the villains being given a face in episode 4, where we actually know more about them and that they're just people trying to survive too, but they've gone too far. We didn't get that much backstory on those people in the game, so I'm glad that the show was able to do that. Basically, in the game, those people were just an obstacle. They're just an obstacle to get through so you can get on to the next thing. Here, it's an actual story in the show. Oh, God of War, I'll definitely be watching that. I love me some God of War, you guys. Especially I wish I could play the latest one that just came out, but that'll have to wait until it's free. But the last one, oh man, that was so good. And I also loved God of War Ascension, which was on the PS3. I really don't care for multiplayer, but they had a pretty good multiplayer game in addition to the regular story mode. That'd be fun. Get a 3D printer and print him some chess pieces. I'll make them all look like characters from one of his games that he loves, or different games that he loves. Crossover event. It'll be a chess crossover event. Well, also, you'll notice in the beginning of episode 4 of The Last of Us, Joel is siphoning gas with a siphon. In the game, he got that siphon from Bill. The last time they saw Bill gave him a siphon to use to get gas. They incorporated that into episode 4, even though that didn't really happen. But I am assuming, Bill being who Bill is, and that being Bill's truck, that all of Bill's vehicles probably have a siphon in them to use in case you come across a vehicle and you need some gas. I did like the addition, though, from episode 4, that Joel said that the gasoline is almost basically water because it's deteriorated over the years. I didn't even think that. I never even pondered the idea that, yeah, over years, gas kind of breaks down and doesn't work as well. He said to Ellie that a full tank back in the day, you can drive all day on it. You drive 12 hours, no problem. But now the gasoline is so diluted, you have to fill up like almost every hour. That's tough, especially when you're doing a road trip. You could drive for an hour on a road trip and never come across a gas station or another car. Silly old Last of Us. I've been loving The Last of Us so much that it's kind of rekindled my love that I used to have for disaster movies and dystopian futures and stuff like that, or in this case, dystopian alternate timeline. So I've been watching more disaster stuff. I watched War of the Worlds. I watched Greenland, which is a new movie with Gerard Butler. Highly recommend that movie. I watched some other zombie stuff. I think I'm going to watch 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later. Of course, 28 Days is great. I can't remember. I saw 28 Weeks Later in the theater. I don't remember if I enjoyed it that much. There's a couple scenes I remember enjoying. but the overall story, I can't even remember it. So I'm thinking of watching that. I know it's available on one of these streaming services. I keep seeing an ad for it on my Fire Stick home screen. Fire Stick home screen. Don't enter that into a Google search. You will not have a good time. All right, you guys, it is about time to close down this live show for the day. There will be a link, not a link, but on the screen, it'll have a thing to click on if you want to set a reminder for Sunday's watch party stream of the Orville New Horizons Domino, which I'm super excited about. We're going to have a great time. We had a great time last Sunday with Twice in a Lifetime. We got a bunch of Orville episodes to watch each week for a little while, and then maybe we'll throw in some other things. Maybe we'll put. I basically got it set up where we can stream anything copyright free, and it's not going to hurt us. So we can pretty much watch anything. So if these build over the weeks, we'll throw some more stuff in there. Maybe do a couple of watch parties a week. But thank you, Mark, John, Curtis, Arkmage, Karoom, and their other names. Here, I can't see them all on this chat here, this chat box. But I want to thank all you guys and all you non-channel members for showing up. Rob Hughes, thank you so much. I know he's gone, but Pranakasha Productions, Joy Dawn. It's been a great time, and we'll be doing it again next week. Yes, Curtis Tate says, go Chiefs. Mark says, have a great week. Indian Guy says, thank you for this, and have a good day, everyone. All of you, go out there, live your lives to the fullest. Don't get too full. You don't want to get weighed down. You want your pants to fit. But I'll see you guys very soon. And as always, we all do better when